Ever found yourself stuck in a loop of confusion, wondering, how do I solve this problem? Or, is there an easier way to do this? You're not alone. We've all been there, facing challenges that seem daunting, with no clear solution in sight. But what if I told you there's a way to break free and make your life simpler, smarter, and more enjoyable? Hi, and welcome. In today's video, we're diving deep into a specific topic, a subject that so many of us can relate to and often find ourselves searching for answers to. Whether you're looking for practical tips, fresh perspectives, or simply the reassurance that you're not alone, you've come to the right place. By the end of this video, you'll walk away with specific outcome, e.g., actionable solutions, new insights, or a better understanding. So, grab a cup of coffee, sit back, and let's jump into it together. Welcome to the Clear English Podcast. Have you ever felt stuck in life, like no matter how much effort you put in, you just aren't making the progress you hoped for? It's one of the most frustrating feelings, working hard, day after day, only to feel like you're not moving forward. We've all been there, questioning ourselves and wondering why nothing seems to be changing. But what if I told you that the secret to feeling happier and more fulfilled isn't about reaching those big, shiny goals we often set for ourselves? Instead, it's about something much simpler, focusing on the small, consistent progress you make every day. That's right, it's not the finish line that brings true happiness, but the journey and the little steps we take along the way. This subtle shift in mindset can completely transform how you look at success, productivity, and even your own happiness. In today's episode, Why Focusing on Progress Makes You Happier, we'll dive into the idea that progress, no matter how small, is far more powerful than perfection. It's about those tiny wins we often overlook, which actually hold the key to long-term satisfaction, motivation, and joy. We'll explore why chasing the end goal isn't always the best approach and how learning to celebrate your small victories can make a huge difference in how you feel every single day. We've all been told to dream big and set ambitious goals, and while that's important, we often lose sight of the journey in the process. Big goals can sometimes feel daunting or even out of reach, leaving us feeling discouraged when we don't see instant results. But here's the thing, real success comes from progress, those small, steady steps forward that keep you motivated and moving closer to where you want to be. So, if you've ever felt like you're stuck in a cycle of trying but not succeeding, or if you've been too hard on yourself for not being perfect, this episode is for you. Together, we'll explore why progress matters more than perfection and how focusing on those little improvements can lead to a happier, more fulfilling life. Let's get started on this journey of redefining success and finding joy in the process. Life is often compared to a race, where the ultimate goal is to reach the finish line. Many of us spend so much time focusing on that finish line that we forget to enjoy, or even notice, the journey itself. This mindset can leave us feeling stuck, frustrated, or even defeated when the results we want seem too far away. But what if the true purpose of the journey wasn't just to reach the destination, but to celebrate each step we take along the way? Think about this, when a baby learns to walk, every small step is celebrated. The first time they manage to stand, everyone cheers. When they take a wobbly step forward, it's a moment of joy and excitement. No one focuses on the fact that they haven't yet mastered running a marathon. Instead, the focus is on progress, no matter how small. This is how we should approach our own goals and challenges in life. Let's take a real-life example. Meet Sarah, a young professional who dreamed of becoming a successful writer. She spent months visualizing her future, best-selling books, packed book signings, and glowing reviews. But every time she sat down to write, she felt overwhelmed. Her ideas never seemed good enough, and she would constantly compare herself to established authors. Frustrated, Sarah almost gave up. Then one day, a mentor gave her a piece of advice that changed everything: stop focusing on the end goal. Instead, just write one page a day. That's it. Even if it's not perfect, it's progress. At first, Sarah wasn't convinced. How could writing one imperfect page a day possibly lead to her dream? But she decided to give it a try. Each day, she sat down and wrote, even if the words didn't come easily. Some days she wrote 2 pages, and other days just a few sentences. Slowly but surely, those small efforts added up. Within a few months, Sarah had written an entire manuscript. It wasn't perfect, but it was a start. More importantly, she felt proud of herself for sticking with it. Sarah's story teaches us an important lesson: progress is powerful. It's easy to get caught up in the idea of perfection, but the truth is, perfection is often the enemy of progress. Waiting for everything to be just right before taking action can hold us back from achieving even the smallest of victories. Instead, by focusing on consistent, small steps, we can build momentum and eventually reach goals that once felt impossible. This idea isn't limited to writing or creative projects, it applies to every aspect of life. Think about fitness, for example. Many people set ambitious goals like losing 20 kilograms or running a marathon, but these goals can feel so far away that they give up before they even start. The secret to success in fitness isn't about achieving massive results overnight, it's about small, consistent efforts. Taking the stairs instead of the elevator, drinking an extra glass of water, or doing a 10-minute workout each day might not seem like much, but over time, these small actions add up to significant progress. Here's another real-life example. John was someone who always struggled with saving money. Every month, he would plan to save a large portion of his paycheck, but unexpected expenses would pop up, and he'd end up saving nothing. Feeling discouraged, he decided to try a new approach. Instead of aiming for a big amount, he started by saving just $5 a week. It wasn't much, but it was something he could commit to consistently. Over time, that $5 turned into $10, and then $20. By the end of the year, John was amazed to see how much he had saved, all by focusing on small, manageable steps. These stories highlight a common theme: progress is about movement, not perfection. When we shift our focus from the end goal to the steps we can take today, we free ourselves from the pressure of having to get it all right. This doesn't mean we shouldn't have big dreams. Big dreams give us direction and purpose. But it's the small steps that actually get us there. Now, let's talk about how you can apply this mindset to your own life. Start by breaking your goals into smaller, more manageable pieces. For example, if your goal is to learn a new language, don't try to master everything at once. Instead, commit to learning just 5 new words a day. If your goal is to improve your health, don't aim for a complete lifestyle overhaul overnight. Start by making one small change, like going for a 10-minute walk after dinner or adding a serving of vegetables to your meals. Another important tip is to celebrate your progress, no matter how small. It's easy to brush off small achievements as insignificant, but every step forward is worth recognizing. Whether it's treating yourself to something you enjoy or simply taking a moment to reflect on how far you've come, celebrating small wins can boost your motivation and keep you moving forward. Lastly, remember that setbacks are a natural part of progress. There will be days when things don't go as planned, and that's okay. What matters is that you don't give up. Progress isn't about being perfect every day, it's about showing up and trying your best, even when it's hard. So, whether you're working towards a big dream, tackling a challenging problem, or simply trying to make a positive change in your life, remember this: progress is more important than perfection. Celebrate your small wins, stay consistent, and trust that every step you take is bringing you closer to where you want to be. Perfection, it's something many of us have been taught to strive for. From an early age, we're encouraged to set high standards for ourselves, to be the top student, the most reliable worker, the perfect friend. But what happens when we fall short? That nagging feeling of discouragement creeps in, whispering that we're not good enough. It's exhausting, isn't it? Chasing perfection can feel like an endless race, one where the finish line keeps moving further away. The truth is, perfection is an illusion. Nobody gets it right all the time, no matter how perfect their lives might seem on the outside. Yet, we hold ourselves to impossible standards, and when we don't meet them, we feel defeated. Instead of celebrating our efforts, we focus on what we didn't do or what we could have done better. I know this struggle all too well. When I started working on this venture, I was determined to make it perfect. I had a clear vision of how it should look, feel, and sound. Every detail mattered: the tone of my voice, the quality of the visuals, even the tiniest word choice in the script. I wanted it to be flawless. I spent hours preparing, reworking, and overthinking every aspect, hoping to create something that would amaze people. But reality had other plans. My first attempts were far from perfect. The sound was off, the timing felt rushed, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I'd failed to deliver what I imagined. At one point, I even questioned whether I should keep going. Was I wasting my time trying to create something that didn't live up to my expectations? Then something unexpected happened. I started focusing on progress rather than perfection. I let go of the idea that everything needed to be flawless and instead celebrated the small victories. Recording an episode without stumbling too much, finding the right flow in the narrative, or simply hitting publish, even when I knew there were areas for improvement, these little moments became milestones. The more I shifted my mindset, the more I realized how liberating it was. Each episode wasn't about achieving some unattainable level of perfection but about taking one step forward. And with every step, I learned and grew. What's more, I started receiving feedback from people who appreciated what I was doing, flaws and all. It was a reminder that even when something isn't perfect, it can still make an impact. Perfection might sound like an admirable goal, but in reality, it often holds us back. It stops us from trying new things, taking risks, or simply starting something we've always dreamed of. Progress, on the other hand, is where real growth happens. And once you embrace that mindset, you'll start to see the beauty in the journey, not just the destination. As I kept working on this project, something truly transformative happened. I found myself feeling more energized and motivated than ever. The pressure of waiting for the perfect result started to fade, and instead, I began enjoying the journey of getting better, step by step. It wasn't about nailing the perfect episode, project, session anymore. It was about celebrating the progress I was making along the way. Each time I noticed even the smallest improvement, it felt like a win. When my voice sounded clearer and more confident, I celebrated. When I managed to edit a section more seamlessly, I gave myself a pat on the back. Even something as simple as communicating an idea in a way that resonated with my audience felt like a major achievement. These moments, however small, gave me a sense of pride and reinforced the belief that I was growing with each step. The beauty of this approach is how it changes your entire perspective. Suddenly, it wasn't about some distant end goal that felt overwhelming or unattainable. It was about the small, consistent wins that built up day by day. And each of those wins gave me the confidence to keep going. What's remarkable is how this mindset applies to every aspect of life, far beyond the scope of my work. Think about fitness goals, for instance. We've all been there, wanting to lose a certain amount of weight or achieve a specific level of strength. At first, the big picture can feel daunting. But when you shift your focus to the smaller wins, like completing a single workout, choosing a healthier meal, or noticing that your stamina is improving, the journey becomes far more rewarding. Each small win keeps you motivated, even when the bigger results aren't visible yet. The same principle applies to learning new skills. Imagine trying to learn a language. At the start, it might feel impossible to carry on a full conversation in your target language. But when you focus on learning just 5 new words a day or mastering one simple sentence, you're making progress. Over time, those small steps compound, and before you know it, you're speaking with confidence. At work, too, the power of small wins can't be underestimated. If you're trying to improve your performance or learn a new role, it's easy to get discouraged by everything you don't know. But when you break it down and celebrate small improvements, solving a challenging problem, mastering a new tool, or even getting positive feedback from a colleague, you start to feel capable and empowered. Momentum is a powerful thing. Each small win builds on the one before it, creating a ripple effect that leads to bigger and better results. And the best part, these small wins help you stay motivated and consistent, even on days when progress feels slow. They remind you that growth is happening, even if it's not always immediately visible. So, whether you're working on a personal project, pursuing a career goal, or simply trying to improve yourself, remember to celebrate those small wins. They're not just stepping stones, they're the fuel that keeps you moving forward. Every tiny victory is proof that you're making progress, and that progress is what will eventually lead you to success. Why does progress have such a profound effect on our happiness? It's simple. It taps into our innate desire for a sense of accomplishment. Think about it. When you're working toward a goal, it's easy to get caught up in the frustration of not seeing immediate results. You might start questioning your efforts or even wonder if you're on the right path. But when you shift your perspective to focus on progress, everything changes. Those small improvements, no matter how minor they seem, are evidence that you're moving forward. Whether it's mastering a new skill, making a little headway in a challenging project, or simply getting through a difficult day, each step forward brings a sense of pride and fulfillment. That feeling of, I did it, may be small in the moment, but its impact is far-reaching. Here's the thing, happiness doesn't come from achieving grand goals overnight. Sure, reaching the finish line feels great, but that joy is often fleeting. What truly brings sustained happiness is knowing that you're making progress, little by little, every single day. The journey of improvement, rather than the end result, is where the real magic happens. Research supports this idea. Studies show that people who focus on progress and personal growth tend to report higher levels of happiness and satisfaction. Why? Because they feel a greater sense of control over their lives and their future. When we recognize that we're capable of improving, even incrementally, it boosts our confidence and motivates us to keep pushing forward. Think about the times in your life when you've felt truly happy. Chances are, it wasn't just about the big achievements but the moments when you noticed yourself growing and getting better. Maybe it was the first time you nailed a difficult skill at work or the day you realized you could jog a little farther without getting winded. Those moments, though seemingly small, spark joy because they remind us of our ability to evolve and succeed. Another reason progress leads to happiness is that it shifts our focus from what we lack to what we're gaining. Instead of dwelling on the distance between where you are and where you want to be, you start appreciating how far you've already come. This change in mindset fosters gratitude and positivity, which are key components of happiness. So, the next time you find yourself feeling stuck or discouraged because you haven't reached a big goal yet, pause and reflect. What small steps have you taken today? What tiny wins can you celebrate? Maybe you learned something new, overcame a small hurdle, or simply showed up and gave your best effort. Each of these moments is worth acknowledging. When you embrace progress, you'll notice a remarkable shift. Happiness doesn't feel like an elusive end goal anymore, it becomes a natural part of your journey. Every small win fuels your motivation, reinforces your belief in yourself, and reminds you that you're moving in the right direction. And that, in itself, is a powerful reason to keep going. Now that we've explored the power of progress and how it leads to happiness, let's get into the practical side of things. How can you actively shift your focus toward progress in your daily life? Here are some simple, actionable strategies to get started. Big, ambitious goals are exciting, but they can also feel daunting. Instead of overwhelming yourself with the enormity of a long-term objective, break it down into smaller, more manageable steps. For example, if your goal is to write a book, focus first on writing one chapter, or even one paragraph, at a time. Every time you accomplish one of these smaller tasks, take a moment to celebrate. These small milestones not only bring a sense of achievement but also build momentum to keep you moving forward. Keeping track of your progress is one of the most effective ways to stay motivated. Use a journal, a checklist, or even a digital app to note down the steps you've completed. It doesn't have to be elaborate, just a simple list of your small wins each day will do. Over time, you'll have a record of how much you've accomplished, and seeing this growth can be incredibly motivating. For example, if you're learning a new skill, write down each new concept you've mastered or each small improvement you've noticed. Tracking your progress turns the abstract idea of growth into something tangible, making it easier to stay focused and inspired. Self-criticism can be a major roadblock to progress. It's easy to get frustrated when things don't go perfectly or when you face setbacks. But remember, progress is about improvement, not perfection. No one's journey is a straight line, and every step forward, no matter how small, is a step in the right direction. When you face challenges or make mistakes, remind yourself that they're a natural part of growth. Instead of focusing on what went wrong, look for the lesson in the experience and acknowledge the effort you've put in. Celebrate the small victories, no matter how insignificant they might seem, and practice self-compassion along the way. Surround yourself with tools, people, and habits that encourage progress. This might mean creating a dedicated workspace, finding a supportive community, or setting aside a specific time each day to work on your goals. When your environment supports your efforts, staying consistent becomes much easier. Recognizing and rewarding your small wins is a great way to reinforce positive behavior. The rewards don't have to be extravagant. Something as simple as taking a short break, treating yourself to a favorite snack, or enjoying a hobby can be enough to celebrate your progress. These moments of celebration create positive associations with your efforts, keeping you motivated in the long run. Every now and then, take a moment to look back and reflect on how far you've come. What challenges have you overcome? What skills have you developed? Reflection helps you appreciate the progress you've made and reinforces the idea that growth is a continuous journey. Focusing on progress isn't about lowering your standards or settling for less. It's about recognizing that every step you take, no matter how small, is bringing you closer to your goals. By setting achievable targets, tracking your wins, and practicing self-kindness, you'll not only stay motivated but also enjoy the journey itself. Progress, after all, is where happiness truly begins. In today's episode of Clear English Podcast, we've explored how focusing on progress, rather than perfection, is the key to happiness. It's easy to get caught up in the idea of achieving big, flawless goals, but as we've seen, it's the small, consistent wins that truly matter. When you shift your mindset to focus on progress, the little improvements you make every day, you'll find more joy, satisfaction, and motivation in every part of your journey. Remember, progress doesn't have to be grand or dramatic. Every small step forward counts, whether it's getting one step closer to your fitness goal, improving your skills, or simply getting through the day with a positive mindset. These small wins are what build momentum and make the process worthwhile. They're the key to a more fulfilling and happy life. So, the next time you feel stuck or discouraged, take a moment to reflect on what progress you've made, no matter how small. Celebrate those steps and appreciate how far you've come. By focusing on progress, you'll not only boost your happiness, but also build confidence in your ability to achieve whatever you set your mind to. Thank you for tuning into the Clear English Podcast. I hope this episode has inspired you to embrace progress in your life and find joy in the journey ahead. Keep moving forward, and remember, it's not about perfection, it's about progress. See you in the next episode.